All right, we are live.
Welcome everyone to Session 1, Season 1, Session 3 of our GURPS Monster Hunters game. I'm today's GM, Rigil Kent, aka Phil, when we forget to use the silly online pseudonyms. Tonight we will be down one player. Padre is out for a family thing, but Andricus has finally deigned to join us. After daring to put work ahead of the gaming. I mean, really.
How could I?
Before we actually get started, are there any other immediate housekeeping things that we need to get taken care of? For point expenditures, adjustments. I know that Lopez is tweaking the Dampier template a little bit to track with my Black Court vampires, but I don't know if anybody else is doing tweaks.
Characters get locked in after this session.
That is correct. Not all characters. It'll be Draven, Hurt, and McArthur will have been here for 3 sessions. So once we flip the switch, start next session, they will be fully locked in. This is the second one for Lopez, and it'll be the first for Finlay.
So the other thing that I've been doing is condensing the skills into the medic exclamation skill. So
that's right. And anytime you use it, you have to make sure to say the exclamation point.
Yep.
I'm not sure how you do that unless I'm thinking
medic,
the middleman. Well, I was thinking of Middleman, the amazingly underrated TV show that was on ABC Family.
I need to watch that again.
I know, right? Middleman. If you haven't watched it, it's very much worth your time. I guess you could shout that you're using medic. I'm using medic.
Shouldn't you get healer as part of the +2 already to your medic skill?
No,
I think that would normally be the case, but I don't know if the wild card skills are properly coded in GCA. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not that. It's that medic as a wild card skill is going to cover instances the healer doesn't cover.
Correct.
Right.
So healer 2 is specific to certain skills.
Yep.
So I have to add that as an add-on.
I figured that sounds understandable.
Which reminds me, I have the same issue.
That's right. Because Hurt has 10 hut. I guess that's the only
I'm
way
not
you
saying
can do
that.
You have to say it every time. Otherwise, you take a -10 penalty to the roll.
I like it.
Daniel's like, I'm not sure about this. I don't like this plan.
Do we actually have someone that is an expert with hidden lore and stuff?
Hello.
Why, yes. How convenient he managed to show up. But then, I had mentioned to Daniel offline, I'm like, oh crap, now I have to actually work him in properly because I don't think he's going to seem a trustworthy sort. At any rate, there are no questions.
So what is Finlay's background? Where is he coming from?
We haven't got to that yet.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, chill.
We're rushing the jump of the gun.
Trying to read it. You're trying to get to chapter 3, and we're not even through the prologue yet.
And now we're on to Finlay. So you need to introduce yourself and tell us who you are, why you're in Apocalypse, etc., etc.
So I shall. So Finlay is. Excuse me, almost had a burp there. Finlay was born over in Scotland, right around Edinburgh.
Where's the
And
Scottish accent?
trust me, you don't want a Scottish accent. You've heard Con Junkie's accent, so you don't want to hear mine. Um,
You're mistaken. We actually do.
no, we're good.
I resemble this.
You're
Mark.
not true Scotsman.
Exactly. So early life was relatively normal for Finlay, but then he got into Miskatonic University in Massachusetts and got to learn a bit more of the supernatural side of things. And it turns out that Finlay himself is a minor talent. And so he's got psychometry and ectomancy, so he can talk to spirits and learn stuff by touching things. And so that's
Don't go.
seems to be about the limit of his power. But going back to who he is, his parents were researchers for the Venatoria Umbrorum, and as part of some background stuff that went on between the Red Court and the White Council, the parents were dead, or his parents were killed rather. And despite all that, he joined up with the Venatoria Umbrorum as well, specifically the Watchers, which is tracking and researching and all that good jazz. And excuse me again. During the course of that, he was assigned to Apocalypse, New Mexico, to oversee the library that they had there, which coincidentally is also the same library that his mother was in charge of before her death. And as an additional surprise, he's supposed to take over the school librarian as well, and so that is where he spends a good portion of his time. More specifically and more recently, although his father's body was recovered after his death, his mother's was not, and then despite her death, he got a phone call.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it's terribly inconvenient.
For to explain some additional commentary there, or add some additional commentary. I know Mark is going to know all this since he's actually read all the books. But when he said the conflict between the Red Court and the White Council, what that is essentially is the White Council is the wizards. They claim to be in control of all wizards on the planet. And the Red Court are a different kind of vampire. But let's see, let me see exactly when it was. In 2014, a war broke out between the Red Court and the White Council. And they have been, basically fighting in the shadows since then. The Venatoria Umbrorum is so it's like a secret organization, but they are closely aligned with the White Council. And I'm not sure how much more information very many of you would actually have with that in that regard. But as as stuff happens, we will cover it. All right, so Finlay, it is, as noted, Sunday, I believe. Let me double check something. I should have mentioned this elsewhere. So he has been the official librarian for about 2 years now, so he's been in Apocalypse for about that length of time. And he also actually has teaching. So he has occasionally served as a substitute teacher at the high school, and it works with the library being in the high school because this is 2022, and honestly, students don't even bother with a library anymore. They just find everything online, so he doesn't have to worry about people wandering in there very often. He is aware that there is an ongoing archaeological dig operating on the native lands outside of town. The first week of the school year of 2022 has just completed. It's actually about to be, tomorrow will be the second beginning of the second week. He's also kind of convinced that at least one of the students is discreetly stalking him. She always seems to turn up wherever he's at, and it's like studying him. And late Saturday, the spirits that he can always sense, since he has that lovely spirit communication or ectomancy, went a little haywire, and then an earthquake happened. In town, it was just a little bit of wobbly ground, but evidently it was a little bit worse outside. So, he is in one of the town's diners having lunch, and it is on Sunday when a number of people enter the said diner. All of them are kind of banged up. They have like bandages, casts, crutches, etc., etc. And one of them, who the leader, will actually be someone that Finlay recognizes as one of his former instructors at Miskatonic, which he is vaguely aware is sort of in charge of the archaeological dig. Good old Dr. Hawthorne has a cast on his arm, and clearly recognizes Finlay. But so he exchanges some words with the students, you're presuming, the student archaeologists, and I'm just now noticing that I should have flipped the images and put the names above, because that stupid little scroll thing is gonna be an issue on the bottom right.
Oh,
I
well,
swear I have run into this in the past and told myself not to do that, and then I forgot about it.
we'll
Bad
figure
GM,
it out.
bad. At any rate, Dr. Hawthorne, has some words with his students. They're clearly just like ordering a bunch of food, not planning on eating it here, but planning on probably leaving. But he comes over and he's like, greets you, and he very clearly is like, well, I would shake your hand, but as you can see, and it sort of wobbles his cast at you. He's like, little surprised to see you out here.
Oh, I can say the same for yourself, Doctor.
Yes, well, here with the dig. It's supposed to be Dr. Kavanaugh. I'm certain you remember her, right?
Yes, most definitely. Absolutely do.
Well, she was supposed to be the leader, but she's 8 months pregnant and as big as a house. So they told me to do it. And then
Now, would I have the details of what they're digging for, or is it just a general dig to see if we got something?
I do not think you currently know what they are digging for. No.
If I may impose upon you, Doctor, what is it precisely that you're trying to dig for? Anything interesting pop up on your radar?
Oh, he's going to visibly light up. And he's like, oh, very interesting. Apparently, when Dr. Kavanaugh was here last time, she found something that is, in the area that is just, well, it's categorically impossible according to modern science. She found some Sumerian cuneiform, which we have carbon dated at least 3 times to sometime between 6th and 5th century BCE, which is not possible, but it was found. So we're trying to make sure that it wasn't some sort of elaborate hoax.
Oh, that is most interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely not possible. But yeah, he will break off and sort of ask what are you doing here? Last I heard you were going for your doctorate.
Yes, well, no, I don't actually know. Would doctorate actually be like a rank of some sort in GURPS terms to actually have it, or is it just a hand wave background thing that he may or may not have?
That, I think that would probably
well,
be
it would probably
possibly courtesy rank.
well, it'd be administrative rank, depending on whether or not he had tenure. I guess it'd be courtesy rank if he's not actively in charge of anything.
Yeah, I
Well,
believe
either way.
also we had coordinated. You had said that he'd actually stopped when right after his parents died and started digging. Linked up with
yes.
the
Yep.
Venatori. So he's definitely got his master's, but he's I guess taking a break. And oh my God, you totally need to populate your quirks, man.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, well, I was on that path, but then some family troubles cropped up that I've had to address and deal with, and so that's drawn my attention away. And so I'm here working for the school librarian, actually, in the interim, while I make sure all of that is sorted and taken care of before recommencing.
Oh, okay. Well, you should definitely finish. You're one of the most promising pupils we had. We'd hate to lose you to, a sort of gestures behind you. It's like a place like this is realizes, I shouldn't have said that fairly loud.
I appreciate the sentiment, Doctor.
It is rather out of the way.
That it is, you can say with certainty.
Yeah, so he will continue to chat with you a little bit, and you will definitely be invited to, come out to the dig sometime. They've only got a couple more weeks before they are being booted off because apparently Dr. Kavanaugh is Navajo by birth, which is the only reason the local tribe even bothered to let her start digging around. They weren't very happy at all when she didn't show up, and they have given a hard deadline of, you will finish by this time, and then you're leaving.
Gotcha. Yeah, he'd be happy to take a look. That would itch his anthropological and archaeological things. Yeah, I was trying to decide between, archaeological and anthropological jimmies didn't really work, but neither did jive. Brain.
He was trying to sound smart, but we know how that goes.
Yeah,
He's too smart for his
after
own
a couple
good.
weeks out of state, so his brain's not exactly in tip-top shape.
Outstanding. Oh, I should have mentioned it, but Hawthorne does have he is British, so he's not American. Right. So the students will eventually let him know, hey, we got the food, and he will bid you farewell, and again reiterate, yeah, come on out whenever you can, and they will depart with the food. All right. So, Hurt, we're heading back to the cabin, I believe,
Yes.
on foot. What was interesting about the cabin, since Ethan wasn't here to hear that?
Oh. Did he not watch the previous recording,
Probably not.
Ethan?
No.
Yeah. Okay. This is the cabin owned by Stephen McKay, who was working with Hurt on finding out what happened to the rest of the Consops team, and Hurt just recently found him horribly murdered.
Well, that's rude.
So Hurt is heading back to the cabin on foot. You put some distance between you and the blown up house. Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Were you going to say or ask something?
Well, I was just going to say that my plans were to plant evidence, which means I need to go kill a bunch of coyotes and return to the scene to plant those bodies. And this, there were three things I was going to do. Is that it was, no, I can't remember them. Well, one of the other things was to find out what was going on at the dig site, whether in person or secondhand. Oh, right.
Archaeological dig.
On his way back to the cabin, he's going to go ahead and try to make a call back to his handler and fill them in on the current situation and pass off the images of the PCs that he took for identification purposes.
Let's see. It's probably going to be easier to do that at the cabin because reception out here is understandably crap.
Well, he's got a lot of time to kill.
Yeah, and actively hunting down some coyotes would also take a bit of time, presuming
Well,
they're...
Mostly that's going to happen after because he needs the vehicle to transport those bodies. And this was early, wasn't it? Okay, noonish.
It was noonish. Right. So you were heading back to the cabin, thinking, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. And a battered Range Rover will, come. It is most definitely coming from the reservation territory. And it's going to slide up to you, and you will actually recognize the driver. And she will, look at you, and she'll like, "Get in. You're going to McKay's cabin, right?"
Maybe. Yes.
I can take you there.
Why do you know that?
I may live in town. I may be a deputy, but I was born and raised on the res. And, well, we worked with McKay. How's he doing, by the way? Haven't seen him around in a couple days.
Well, then apparently you don't work with him that closely. Why don't we just go there and I'll fill you in?
Sure.
You seem trustworthy.
Let's see. So,
I just had a thought. Does that mean Cons Ops happens in the Monster Hunters cinematic universe?
dun, dun, dun.
This is true.
Well, it worked because Mark totally ran at least one adventure from the Knights Black Agents game.
That's true.
So she will, as she's driving, she's got the windows down again, despite the dust, because this place out here is not very grass friendly, let's say. And she will ask, I'm sorry, not ask, but will state that Nine Fingers wanted to know if it was the okay, let me see if I can properly pronounce it. The Nimmeragars that you were tracking, if you got them all. He wasn't pleased that they dared to run rampant on the reservation.
Again with the knowing things. Who was that and what was that word?
I'm just passing on the information. He called them the Nimeragar. I thought they were just myth.
Well, you can tell Mr. Nine Fingers that I suppose the answer to that question would be I don't believe so.
You don't believe so? Which part? That you got them all?
That we got them all.
Well, he'll have to.
I'm
sure we'll have to look in. Well, they're good at hiding. Give me a perception check in the box, please.
Yeah. Roll.
Okay. And I have to look something up because, of course, I do. I'm going to blame Mark for having to look something up. Damn it.
It sounds like a thing you would do.
Woo-ha-ha.
Ooh-ha-ha.
Okay. So you are getting really, really distracted as you're sitting there. And it takes you a bit because, as I believe you indicated that he's still coming to grips with what his superpowers are. So it takes him a bit to kind of really piece the stuff together. But based off of the way she smells right now, which is kind of odd for him to sort of think that, he's like wondering if he should be worried about his chastity.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as he's, it's like, wait, what? He sort of notices that as she's driving, she is like clutching the steering wheel so tightly that you can actually see white in the hands, and she's got a pretty decent tan.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like not making eye contact with you as she's driving, and she's like, so now that I've delivered Nine Fingers' question, I have a question, and I want to know who. No. I want to know what you are.
That's kind of a strange question, which begs clarification.
He is a meat popsicle.
Your smell, it's kind of different.
I use Axe body spray? He says with the wince like she's not going to believe that.
Wow, it does work. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Are you kin? What tribe are you from?
Comanche?
Is he really Comanche?
I believe that's what I had established.
Actually, I had no idea. I don't remember if you did fully establish what tribe.
I may not have ever actually said it. I may have just thought that. and
I know
never
you had
thought
a
it.
quirk that he was proud of his
Yeah.
native heritage, but
He
I
knows
don't know
what
if
it is, whatever it is. I'm going to assume it's Comanche at this point. But he wasn't native to Oklahoma either. Yeah.
they're problematic.
Well, I think he was originally from Iowa.
No, that's not what I was
Oh,
trying to
never mind.
remember. Like, you don't smell Comanche.
Oh, well,
They have a particular smell now.
it's a very distinctive smell.
Well, maybe if you have discriminatory smell. Damn it. I had a freaking comment from her and I don't know where I put it. Damn it.
Figures. How does he answer that kind of question? So she's assuming that he knows what's going on, and
Yeah.
he knows things, but not that. So what would he say? No, he's used to he's still undercover, technically, in his own mind at least. So maybe it was something at McKay's house. He's got chemicals there. It's weird. I don't know what everything is. I don't know what those labels all mean.
Bollocks. Why can't I find that? Wait. Maybe it's in that one. Hold on. This is the problem when you have your notes scattered around too many different places.
Yes, all relevant notes must be in the same place.
I found it. Now I got to figure out how I'm gonna, because I had forgotten how. And she's like gonna pause and give you a sidelong look that is kind of blood heating, and will consider your comment is like no. She's like I'm sorry, I totally didn't introduce myself properly. I am Malia, born to the Utina Dine, born for the Sagebrush Hill Clan. My maternal grandfather is Deer Springs Clan, and my paternal grandfather's clan is Rock Gap Clan. And the way she says it, it has a sort of almost ritualistic. That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Ritualistic feel to her phrasing. And I have no idea if he has any skills that go toward understanding that sort of thing.
Nope. Well, he knows a bit about his own history. He doesn't know much about anybody else's, but he'll recite his lineage as far as he knows it, which isn't going to be a lot. And he will realize as he's saying it that this is not what she means.
And as you come up to the to the cabin, she's going to very clearly start like she smelled something weird, and then
It wouldn't happen to be blood, would it?
I was about to say that's about when you go, oh yeah, that's blood, and she's like, yeah, that's a lot of blood. What is going on?
We got distracted on the way here with questions, but you were asking about what McKay's status was. He is inside.
I thought you were about to say an ex-parent pining for the fjords.
He doesn't actually know that she can smell that yet. Wonder if there's a body language for that.
The fact that she reacted right about the same time that the smell of blood sort of hit you does sort of point towards something. And she has made several references to smell the entire time.
No, just as I was saying that, I remember. Okay, Hurt does have familiarity with the supernatural and is aware that this stuff exists. And given her behaviors, he can leap to a few conclusions, and that being one of them. So,
do you have super leap?
I don't have super leap.
No, that's too bad. I was hoping you'd really, super leap to a conclusion.
So he will normal leap to the conclusion that she can smell that for some reason, because he can, and tell her, yeah, that is blood, and it is those N words got to him. Best I can figure.
Nymiragar, maybe?
What kind of word is that?
A Shoshone word. Nymiragar, roughly translated from Shoshone and Paiute languages, means people eaters.
Do they fly? Are they purple?
No, they're not.
Do they have one eye?
And inexplicably, right now McArthur was riding his sort of bike back, and it explodes. It's really weird. So she will, jump out of the truck once you arrive, and is definitely heading towards the mess or the front door.
I kind of casually mentioned that I don't think McKay's ever mentioned working with you before. Although, to be fair, he's not one to overshare.
He did some work for us. Which also leads me to a question: is did Hurt actually do anything to his body before he left, or did he just kid up and go after shutting the door?
I'm gonna guess he probably threw a sheet over it or something, but not anything else, because he probably expected to go and maybe kill a thing and come back and deal with it. So,
and then things got weird.
And now it's been gone for half a day, so he's not going to be in a good state.
Well, he's inside, doors shut.
It's dry air.
Yeah. The deputy will, wait for you to open the door, so he can at least see it. And it's like, well,
and
this is not
will
great.
Show that he has a key.
Oh, she was going to kick it in if you didn't. Put saying, make sure to keep some distance between the two of you. And when she sees it, it's like, Nine Fingers is not going to like this at all. And Eric, I believe you were heading back to the hospital with the corpses, of which that would be Paul, by the way, Fran Javier.
Correct.
Yes, I believe you were heading back to the hospital there were going to be a total of 10 corpses. There were the 9 girls women, whatever, who are in the weird ritual circle thing, and then the really old one. So at the hospital, the first thing that you will note is Dr. Mahoney is still on shift and looks like really really tired.
She has not asked me for help, so
Nope.
I will head down to the morgue with the bodies.
Okay, so yeah, it's going to take a little bit because you have to like coordinate with the appropriate people. I think you probably got a couple of the sheriff's guys that are helping escort. Just get the what are those, gurneys?
Yep, get the gurneys and stuff and get the bodies down there. I'll also make sure I get my forensics gear and my lab gear from my car and make sure it gets taken down to the morgue.
That's no worries. I don't know how heavy that is. You may just be carrying it by yourself.
I'm just making sure that I'm bringing it with me so I don't get any negative modifiers to my rolls.
Well, it's not like this is a hospital. It's not like they're not going to have that kind of most of the gear that you need. There may be some specialized stuff that you go, oh yeah, I need this specific thing. As you are heading down there, you will observe that they have some electricians who seem to be working on that are working on like the cameras, the ceiling cameras. So you have to like go around them.
Okay.
And at the morgue itself, you will actually be potentially surprised to see that one of the it's like there's a hospital admin guy who is talking to one of the town police. And they are literally right outside the door leading into the morgue.
I will head up and introduce myself. I'm Dr. Eric Lopez of the Office of Medical Investigations. I was sent here to look at some bodies, and unfortunately, there's more for me to look at too.
The Sergeant Hooker will glance up there and sort of give one of the sheriffs or the deputies knowing nod, and is like, yeah, well, we seem to be missing one of the ones that were here originally.
Can you kind of explain?
And then she's going to again look to the admin guy and say, that's a really good question. Can you explain? And he's like, I don't know. We had some shorts, and the cameras went out in this sort of wing, and when we came down here to investigate, we found the door open for I don't know what those are called, the actual places where they put the bodies.
Probably like freezers, because they're just freezer doors, really.
Yeah, but it's he uses the right word because he knows it and I don't. And he's like, for number 4 there, and it was open and the body was missing. I don't know. We don't know what's going on.
Do you have your notes? Did you do an autopsy on the body before it going in there?
No. You were. That's what you were called in for.
Ah, okay. Do we have any photos of the crime scene? Do we have anything that I can look at?
Hooker will yawn, and it's like, yeah, we did take the crime scene photos before, and I'll make sure to that you get that.
I would appreciate it. I take it we did at least take pictures of the body and everything else.
Such as this, yes.
Okay, I should be able to determine cause of death, at least to a general degree, from the photos from the crime scene.
She's going to Pons like flip through her notes and say, well, according to this, this is the one that Lieutenant Graham of the state police had presumed was the this Walter Corbett who was beaten to death. I don't know why they would want to somebody would want to take that body.
Do we know what was there any unusual wounds on him?
He was beaten to death, and
I understand being beaten to death.
I'm trying to remember. I'm having to open up my episode 1 notes because I'm like, oh yeah, I did mention something like this to to Padre. I'm like, what did I actually say again? He was brutalized. Someone really, really strong beat him to death, and then they seem to have cut out his heart.
Okay.
The admin guy is very clearly on the verge of a breakdown because he's like doing this has never happened before. Our security is usually impeccable. Clearly trying to cast shift blame or cover his butt.
Don't worry about it. Just send me what information you do have, and we'll see. Maybe there is some latent stuff in there that I might be able to find out possibly what happened to the body.
What do you mean what happened to the body? Somebody took it.
More than likely, and I might be able to find some latent evidence as to maybe who took the body.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Sergeant's like, I will have additional questions for you to the admin guy. Additional questions for you later, but for now, you can go, and thank you for your assistance. And the dude basically sort of bolts. He's probably going straight to the admin area, or maybe getting on the phone to call a lawyer. Who knows? She will ask of you, if there is anything else that they can assist with.
I will need
Apart.
privacy as I do the autopsies of these bodies.
How long does an
And
autopsy
determine
actually
cause.
take?
And also, do we have anybody? Are you aware of anybody that's knows of kind of has general knowledge of unusual things?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Just someone you may know that seems to know a lot of different things.
That still doesn't really help.
Okay.
Everybody knows a lot of things.
I'll mention it later. I'll head into I'll let her know that, basically I'll get to work, and I'll start reviewing the bodies and putting together the notes and all that. So I'll get to work.
So I am actually trying to find out how long does it take for an autopsy to actually take? How long does an autopsy take? Iowa State. come on, that doesn't tell me what I need to know. It's like, this is like, hey, the autopsy is performed as soon as possible, and usually the deceased can be released within a few days. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't tell me how long the actual autopsy takes. A standard forensic autopsy can take up to 3 hours. Complicated cases involving extensive medical issues or traumatic deaths with multiple injuries may take longer in order to document fully all observations and findings. Hey, we have a okay, so if it can take up to 3 hours, I'm going to guesstimate, and it's probably going to be anybody who disagrees can chime in. I'm going to say it's probably going to be a base of an hour to do a standard autopsy.
And since we now have how many bodies?
Yeah, I think it's 12.
So it's going to take me about over 12
Well,
hours.
you won't necessarily need to do all of them right now.
True. I'll probably do the 2 first that I was hired to do.
That's going to be the 2 unknown males, right?
Correct. I'll do those 2 first, and then I'll probably do the zombie-looking corpse, and then I'll start doing the women after that. As of
He's
that,
going to do
I'm
the
also
women, guys.
and
That's why
then
you wanted
I'm also
privacy.
going to I'm gonna investigate, see if there's any prints or anything that can determine. I will investigate the cooler that held the missing body, see if there's any prints or evidence, latent evidence, either criminology, or I'll use my meta-ec skill via forensics to see if there's any information that can be gleaned as to how this body might have disappeared. And then once I get
Maybe it got up and walked out.
that's a possibility. I mean, I know that happens. And then after I get the photos from the sheriff or the police officer, once they deliver that to me, I'll look those over as well, and specifically looking for trying to see if I can find any bite marks, probably within the bruises or anything like that.
Right. So all of that is definitely not a 1-day thing. That is, going to be over a course of a couple days, which is probably what you're expecting.
Correct.
Okay, so you'll probably once you get you will probably want to go over the stuff in the morgue first before you have a whole bunch of people trumping through here and adding more bodies.
Correct. So I will use probably criminology skill to first do the looking for the fingerprints or all that stuff, and see if I find anything that they missed. Sound about right?
See, I don't
That's
remember
forensic
criminology.
skill.
Let's see. Well, maybe this is the criminology is the study of crime. A successful skill roll allows you to find and interpret clues, guess how a criminal might behave, etc. And then forensics is the ability to apply the principles of forensic science and criminalistics, such as computation of bullet paths and the microscopic or chemical analysis of clues. So I think it's criminology first, and then you would use forensics as if you would use forensics like intelligence analysis.
Yes.
Is that how? I'm asking if everybody agrees with that. Is that how that
I'd probably say it would be professional skill, law enforcement or whatever, for the taking photos, taking prints and stuff like that, and then you use forensics.
So the criminology would be my professional skill in that particular regard then.
I think criminology is more like profiling, like criminal profiling and stuff.
The other ones I have is search, and I also have observation. I basically combined the forensics with the medic because it does do forensics for autopsies.
Did they get rid of, or was forensic not part of, oh, never mind. I'm looking at the COPS book, which is 3E, and it actually says criminology is the skill of interpreting crime scenes and forensics evidence to predict how the criminals involved will behave. And then they say forensics is the laboratory component or counterpart of the field science criminology.
So if that's being the case, then does forensics
right.
work? So
I guess
searching
it would
for
be
clues.
criminology.
So go with criminology.
Actually, it's probably both.
All right. So let's start with criminology first, or start with
Doesn't
search,
matter.
maybe. All right.
Yeah, I shouldn't have been looking at it there. I should have been looking at the Monster Hunters thing.
And then do you want me to use the metic skill or search skill?
For
The forensics part of it.
forensics, is that not going to be, in this case, do you not have forensics anymore?
I combine it with the medic because I was thinking more of medic for autopsies. So forensics does work in that regard if it's an autopsy. I may start adding it as an additional skill as probably after this one. Once I get the 2 points, I'll probably put it as another blanket in addition.
Yeah, just go ahead and do medic for now. That way we can come back with it later. Okay, so looking through the area, it honestly, you probably don't want to tell the vanilla cops, but it honestly looks like that freezer, whatever the heck it is, was opened from the inside.
Dun dun dun.
I'm gonna use my hidden lore vampires to. Can I use that as a determination to figure out if he became a vampire, or is because they said that his heart was cut out. So
His heart was cut out, yeah.
So then, does that, being a damn fear myself, would I know that if someone cut a vampire's heart out, would that kill it?
I don't know. Would you know that? Let's see what you roll. All of the stuff that you have found thus far indicates that if you remove the vampire, the heart of the vampire, that's going to kill it.
So this probably was not a vampire. This might be something similar to the zombie.
You were also from what you, Mark does have a point. Cutting out the heart of just about anything kills things. That's one of those. It's like, hey, the only way to kill a vampire is to decapitate it and burn it, and it's just like that'll kill a person too. So you are also at least vaguely aware that even if he was bitten by a black court vampire, he hasn't had enough time to turn, because they generally have to. Yeah, I think it's 3 days they rise as a vamp after dying.
So somehow he made his way from the inside, got himself out. Not a vampire. Does it look like any oozing blood or any droplets between the freezer to the door that was left behind?
Nope. Well, based off of your the forensics angle, though. You will find indications on the ground. It's like you're not sure, but it almost seems like there's some salt on the ground. And there shouldn't be any salt. There should be like almost a clean room.
I will take samples for investigation later.
All right, so noted. Let's see. So give me a medic check for the actual just one for the initial autopsies.
If I was to take additional time, I get pluses, right?
Yes. What is it? Do I not have that? Oh man, I don't have that note. Where's the come on, Daniel, you can chime in. Where's that located at? It's in basic.
So like 2 times normal time is +1.
Extra
And then-
time. Let's see. Taking more time than usual for a task gives a bonus to a non-combat action. 2 times as long gives a +1. 4 times gives a +2. 8 times gives a +3. 15 times gives a +4, and 30 times gives a +5. So in this case, 2 times would give you a +1, and that would take 2 hours per
2 hours.
per yeah.
So for the zombie one, I do want to take at least probably 2 hours reviewing that body, because one, even though I'm aware of the supernatural, I'm probably not as familiar with walking corpses. So I'm going to take some extra time, 2 hours on that body. The female corpses and the other bodies I'll probably do the normal amount of time.
You probably won't get to the females today.
Okay.
Because I figure it's going to take at least 30 minutes, maybe an hour for you to just, do your checking out on the morgue. Then if you take, and that puts you at, let's say 1:30, and then if you take 1 hour per for the regular ones, that would be 2 of them for the 2 Hispanic males. So that puts you at 3:30, and then if you take 2 hours for the other guy, 5:30, and then you're going to be like, oh yeah, I didn't get any sleep last night. I'm really, really tired.
Okay, that's what I'll do. Is I'll do the 2 individuals first, just
Okay.
at regular, and then I'll
So-
take some extra time on the zombie.
Okay, so give me 3 medic checks, one of which is at +1. Honestly, now I'm sort of thinking, I'm wondering if that should have been classified as routine anyway. Whew. All right. Well, that's very, very interesting. Okay, so the 2 unknown males, both of them appeared to be of Hispanic origin, 25 to 35 years of age. Neither of them have any tattoos or piercings, or as you're doing the preliminary exterior thing, even scarring, which seemed kind of weird. The exterior skin was surprisingly tough. When you started to do to cut into them. So, meta note, that's sort of like damage resistance with the tough skin mod. So it took a little extra effort to actually cut through the skin. But the moment you've opened them up, for both of them, you are absolutely surprised to find they have no internal organs at all. There are no lungs, no heart, no stomach, nothing.
Wow.
And it's one of those where it's like, this is kind of creepy.
Yeah, even for me. It's like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, it's I mean, you can even have tried to check the brain, and if you take the skull cap off, they don't have a brain.
Which I would have done. I would have done a full autopsy. So
So it's like, what?
So now, how do I hide this?
That,
How do
hey,
I,
that's like,
how do
you
I,
know,
and how do I
do
explain
you?
this away? And do
Do
I
you?
hide this? For this particular, do I? I know for the zombie one, I'm gonna use that margin critical as a means of explaining.
So
In
with that, you do find some pretty weird. Not as weird as that. The initial examination does seem to confirm your initial suspicion that the body is at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years, maybe even a little bit more old. However, despite its age, the body is still rather flexible. There is, as noted before, some pretty significant shotgun damage to the chest. It is clearly fired at short to close range, but it appears to have been delivered post-mortem. The
Which is
right hand
odd.
of the subject was severed long before this dude died, simply based off of the fact that the stump had plenty of time to heal over, which implies a minimum of a year, up to maybe 5 years before death. There is a considerable amount of foreign sand particulate that is very much in that stump. You'll probably have to have a geology expert examine it to confirm, but yeah, it definitely doesn't look local at all due to like coloring and texture and such like that. Opening him up,
Is
yeah,
that
go ahead.
one similar? The dust or salt or whatever you talked about, is that similar to what I found on the floor?
You know, as you're looking, it does seem kind of similar.
Okay.
Just as a side note, you might want to go looking through medical records for people that have had a hand amputated.
That is a good idea.
So opening this guy up reveals, yeah, this dude died a long time ago. You know, he's not missing anything that hasn't, unlike the other two guys, but enough time has really elapsed since death that the organs are pretty much gone at this point. Again, year, maybe 2 years old. So, yeah, you were about to say something.
So yeah, I would I mean, based on knowing that seeing that correlation between the salt on the floor, my character would definitely look, get a hold of somebody and say, hey, I would like to look at your administrative records for people that may have died approximately a year ago that would have lost a right hand or whatever hand he lost.
Well, I'm also suspecting that it's probably part of the standard autopsy thing to at least like try to get prints and let that go through the. Is it NICS? Is that the right acronym or abbreviation or something?
Possibly, yeah. So yeah, I would be taking his prints. I would be running them in the system, seeing if he comes up, and I would be doing that for the other bodies as well, trying to figure out who these people were and get the names and stuff like that if they haven't already gotten their names.
But yeah, when you finish with his autopsy, you are probably a little more relieved that he seems a lot more normal than the first two. He's just an old corpse that you found. But as noted, while soon after you finish with that, you're probably really hungry at this point. Maybe. Just occurred to me you've spent like multiple hours cutting open people. Would you be hungry? I'm presuming so.
I'm used to it. I'd be hungry.
Tired, such like that.
So
yep.
I would make sure that the bodies are properly put away. All my notes are secured. I'm also, based on the conversation that I had with the other people, I am going to be preparing a second set of notes for that zombie that would kind of basically, from a commoner standpoint, explain what I'm seeing without really sharing secretive stuff, right? This guy died of this, but make it blasé and simple to understand, and explain it away in such a way that they're like, "Yep, this makes sense. No more questions."
That's pretty easy. Cause of death, no organs.
I'm not talking about the two men. No, I'm talking
Massive
about the
organ
zombie.
shutdown.
The two men I can't explain away right now. All I can say is they had no organs. The zombie,
Well,
I'm trying
to
to
be
have it
fair,
covered
they
up.
were discovered at the same spot as the missing guy. So people didn't necessarily see them walking around. So who knows? But yeah, and I think Mark's right. They're clearly organ harvesters. Murdered him. And speaking of Com Junkie, I am going to jump to him.
Moving
Is
up.
he awake?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So last week you succeeded on that mechanic roll to try to get your motorcycle up and at least functional. And as I had mentioned to you offline, it is damaged. So it's clearly going to need to have actual repairs, but I'm going to say that you were able to basically jury rig it so it is currently functional, but not right. Like you are stuck in first gear, so you can't really go very fast.
Not gonna want to keep driving it like this without causing further damage.
Exactly. So the first question I have for Mr. McArthur is, where is he going?
So he's had a night. He looks in the wallet for an address and says, "I'll go there." Looks like his home address, so he will go there, hoping to find a bed.
Right. So he's not initially positive about where it's at, but as he's slowly creeping his bike through town and getting honked at by some people who are probably a little irritated, everything does feel normal. And it's like, okay, yeah, oh wow, I think I'm supposed to turn up here, and then proceed a little bit, and then I don't need to turn here. And it turns out that is exactly what happens, and he will end up arriving in what amounts to a trailer park. And the address that he finds is a not particularly great looking trailer.
What a piece of junk.
But sitting outside it is a female or the woman that you saw previously, who was just about to come out of that building, and then she saw you when you guys were walking toward the gym, and she said, just sort of started shaking her head and went back inside. And she looks like she has been working on a glare for a while. As you approach, that's clearly the address. She's like she sort of seems to be waiting.
That's some glare you got there.
Like, what the hell
Can
are
I-
you back in town for? And you're already in trouble with the law? What the hell?
I stop and I look kind of around and point the finger at myself. Me?
I told you not to come back after you missed your daughter's birthday the last time.
Right.
Yeah, he's probably like, surprise, I have a daughter.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Look, I'm really, really sorry. And it's not what you think. Those cops and everything else. Some weird stuff has happened, and and I just happen to be a little too close to it. Is all.
I don't believe you. This is
Well-
similar to what you said the last time.
Again, my apologies, and I'm trying to do better.
She's
In
like
fact,
tilting her head and looking at you funny. It's like, what is wrong with you?
like I said, it has been a day. Just I got too close, and I think someone's house had some gas leak, and it blew up, and I just happened to be nearby. So,
Somebody dying? Is someone dying in your house, Mark? He went silent.
I guess somebody is dying.
all right, no false alarm. Everything's okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Like,
Um,
what the heck's going on?
Someone was just trying to breathe their food instead of eat it.
They shouldn't do that.
It's a bad idea in general.
Powdered sugar is awesome for that.
Your definition of awesome and my definition of awesome are two different things.
Yeah, who designed the breathing hole and the eating hole to be the same thing?
Someone with a sense of humor. So she will actually stand up and produce a key, which is probably good because you realize you only had your bicycle or your motorcycle key.
It's like, oh yeah, that.
And
Yeah,
she's
it seemed
going
to have
to
lost
unlock
mine.
the door.
And I'll prop the bike up and walk up, and it's like, would you like some coffee or tea?
And she's most definitely looking at you like you've grown a third head today. It's like, what? You're being really weird.
And I kind of put my hand to my head. It's like, it's been a weird day.
Yeah.
Besides, I saw you over at the shop, you know.
As you were walking from the police station.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, when you get caught near a building exploding, people want to ask questions. Poor old Ed, the unfortunately the bike got damaged too. Here, let me see if I can fix you something. I don't want to be inhospitable, and I kind of like look through the cupboards, trying to find something. Open up the fridge and see if there's anything.
There's probably some beer in there. There might not be anything else.
So I do the so what I see is like a old thing of coffee, and I
that's like
grab it.
Congealed solid.
Well, I don't seem to have much. I got this beer, I guess, and water. The coffee's probably, and I kind of slosh it a little strong for even me.
And again, she's like, just got this confused expression on her face. Is like, no, I'm not doing this again.
Well, I totally understand. I mean, I seem to like have brought a quite some quite a bit of interest with me coming back. So I totally get it.
And
Hey.
go ahead.
And I'll mention, how is our daughter?
He starts fishing for her name. How is our daughter, whose name is like, now you're interested? And this whole argument seems really, really familiar to him. Like he's had it multiple times.
Well, I mean, sure, she's my daughter, and I mean, like I said, I'm trying to change and be better. It's one of the reasons why I came back. You know, second chances, third chances, whatever it takes.
Try 10th.
Well, sometimes you got to get it wrong a few times to figure out the right way to do it. Not saying I'm perfect, and obviously I'm quite a bit imperfect here.
And it's probably about that time that you sort of realize that the two of you are really, really close. Yeah, I mean, you're standing there, and you've one of you has invaded the other's personal space, and you're not sure which one it is. But the body, I guess it'd be the actual McArthur body, really, really, really knows this woman.
So, without realizing I'm saying it, he'll say, "I've missed you."
And then realize he just said it.
He said it, yeah.
I want to look at something very quickly. Presuming I can actually do it quickly. Ah! Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to have you roll health check in the box at -3. No, -2.
And he has a heart attack.
Sorry. Okay, so let's see. So the body is clear. You know, you're experiencing those sense memories that I believe you had mentioned offline. You know, the whole Riker Ortega chemistry,
Right.
like in Altered Carbon, where it's like, you know, your chemistry is definitely there. And it's one of those without really possibly realizing what he's doing. The body like leans forward and kisses her.
That's perfect.
Well, so much for getting out of that.
I have a feeling it's going to be foot neat. You know,
It is most definitely crack as she slaps you really, really hard. And then she's like, "No, not again." And she like turns and yanks open the door, and you can definitely see there's a much older woman out there who is just about to start knocking. And April is like, "What do you want, Mom? We're leaving."
I kind of lift my hand and wave at her, like with one hand on my like where I got slapped, and the other one like, hi.
Hi, Mom.
Her mother is like, you see where her mom got her, or where May got her her glare from, because her mom is like, super frosty towards you, which then she like sort of pauses and like frowns and like narrows her eyes for a second, like she's looking at you weird, and then the door closes.
I kind of rub my chin, and without thinking about it, pour the coffee and take a swig, and then there's a shiver. It's like, ugh. And then reaches for a beer to wash it down.
All right, so there, Ronky. On your
Yep.
way back, your Firebird. I had to give us a picture of the Firebird. It's sort of sputtering and coughing again. It's not quite dying or anything, but it's clearly starting to show its age again.
As always.
But, yep. Again, it's obviously going to need some proper care at some point from an actual mechanic, because I'm not sure if does Draven actually have a
He
you know
does
what?
not.
Sorry. Pause. For those who are listening, what we were cracking up about when I had who are just listening, when I had McArthur roll in the box, the health roll, he totally rolled an 18, which is crit fail. That's why we thought it was hysterical. Right. What was does he have a mechanic?
He doesn't, so he'd be defaulting off his driving.
Right. So it's one of those that it's like, this thing's getting old, and it kind of needs proper tune-up before you end up getting back on the road for an extended trip. I am guessing, I'm not positive, but I'm presuming you were planning to head back to the gym.
Well, last session we were still in the process of getting arrested.
No, that last session we ended with you guys coming to an arrangement with Graham.
Okay. All right, so Draven wanted to go out to the dig site, so I guess he'll go back to the gym. What time was it?
It's noonish when you're finally sort of like cut free.
So yeah, he'll probably go back to the gym, chill, get something to eat, and then sort of go from there. He might.
Yeah,
he might see if he can get hold of. Was it Bruce? To see what crazy conspiracies he has with regards to the dig site.
Okay. Well, you know that Bruce is probably not Bruce. What the hell was his name?
Ash.
Ash.
Because it's actually modelled off Ash.
He does not work at S-Mart.
Doesn't have a chainsaw hand.
Maybe that comes later. Ash Campbell. That's what I was naming him. Now I have to import that image. So he would end up being oh wait, no, I don't. It's already there. It should be already there. It's already there. If anything, he would probably be at his dad's shop, not shop, the gun store. Where's my map? My map is here, and I think everybody should see lots of little pips.
Yep.
Yes.
So the gun store is there. If that is the intent. However, before you do that, you will arrive, back at the gym, and Joe will, be already there. He's like, good. I just got a phone call from somebody who is asking for you. Said her name was Elizabeth.
Okay. Did she leave a message?
She said she wanted you to call her back. She sounded pretty. Is she pretty?
Draven will just sort of shrug.
Maybe you could introduce me to her.
Why would I want to do that?
Because you're a great guy.
Yeah, but you're ugly.
That's beside the point.
Did she leave a number or anything like that?
Yeah. Here, let me find it. And he's clearly not the most what's the word? He's not really
Organized?
great at organization. Yes, like me right now. But yeah, he will give you the number. He's like, dude, that looks long distance. So out of state girlfriend, very nice.
All right. So since he's assuming that this is his sister, so he's going to go somewhere private to talk so that Joe's not listening in.
Which disappoints Joe greatly. Although he may just be busting your balls.
Then he'll call.
And it is, in fact, your sister Elizabeth. She will, when she answers it, she's like, took you long enough.
It's kind of busy. Things are happening.
Well, things are happening here. Mom went on a hunting trip and hasn't come back.
Where did she go?
She didn't say. That's why it's worrying. I mean, she's in her 60s.
Have you called a phone?
She's been living with me.
Right. She might have a phone on her. Give her a call. I'm assuming you tried, right?
You're my last option. I don't have any other options. I've called, checked with everything. And I just wanted to let you know because I'm still going to be looking for her.
What did she take with her?
She took her old trailer. You know the one. Did you ever watch Grimm, Brian?
Grim. I don't think so.
That's okay. I think it was on like NBC or something. It was, and naturally I didn't think to make this an establishing thing. Yeah, but it's like sort of a Monster Hunters kind of thing.
Is it recent or old?
It's not that old. I'm fairly certain it was 3 or 4 years ago it ended.
Which means it's probably about 10 years ago that it started.
Shut it, shut it, shut it.
Did a quick search. Says Grim, 1995.
I don't think it's that old.
Grim, 2011. Looks like it started. Had 6 seasons. GRIMM. But I just put a link in there of the trailer for those of you who are, listening. It's just, the Grim trailer from the early seasons. It's the kind that you would, it's pretty old. You would, secure it to a truck or something like that. But you very much remember this trailer because it had all sorts of shenaniganry and monster huntery stuff inside.
It's full of sharp, pointy objects.
So
And poisons and weapons and books and stuff like that.
So Draven's going to say, so when did she leave? When
3
was the
days
last
ago.
time? 3 days ago. Look, I'm in the middle of something. If something turns up, if you hear anything, give me a call. But at the moment, I can't do anything. I don't know where she went. I'll see if I can give her a call. I might even be able to use that find my phone or whatever to see where she's at.
Well, she's, probably smart enough to turn the phone off. Even if I do think she has dementia. But just wanted to let you know, she was grumbling about dealing with old debts and closing some accounts and, the usual nonsense. But then I came home from work and she was gone.
Liz, this really pisses me off. You should be looking after Mum a lot more.
Says the guy who's on the halfway across the damn country.
Yeah, well, she's not living with me, is she?
Because you don't have a house.
So she's not my responsibility. She's yours.
The two of you clearly inherited somebody has a... I wonder if Mom has a bad temper too.
Look, let me know if you hear anything. I'm currently in a Apocalypse, New Mexico. If you hear anything, let me know and we'll deal with it then. At the moment, I'm in the middle of something.
You're always in the middle of something.
What can I say? It's my lot in life.
Stuck
And-
in the middle with you.
And your less than positive phone call with your sister ends.
There
And
will
you were
be
talking-
an audible curse as he finishes the call.
On both sides?
As it's obviously frustrated him.
And I totally envision that wherever she's living, I guess it was in New York, she's probably cursing, making the exact same curse, but it's at the same time, but across the country.
More than
So
likely.
so you were planning on tracking down Ash for some reason?
Yeah, to see if he has any wild stories about this dig site. Draven's probably got it in his head that this is like an ancient Indian burial ground or something like that.
Yes, I had noticed.
He'd have no no idea of what its real stuff is, but that's his preconceived idea.
Well, honestly, that might be the common preconceived idea in town, because most people don't. They know there's some sort of dig site going on. They don't know what the specifics are. So, seeking out Ash will take you to the gun store. And I have to make sure, did I import this? I did. Yay me. So you will not initially find Ash waiting, but you will find his dad, who always feels like $6 million.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, so random meta thing. Apparently he played Ash's dad in the Ash versus the Evil Dead show. So
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
does.
you know what?
Oh.
I love that show, Ash versus the Evil Dead.
I never actually watched it. I don't remember why I didn't watch it. Yes, so his name is actually Gunther, but the gun store is Gun Hers, missing the T. That was evidently an accident way back when, and he just rolled with it.
Does this guy have a nickname?
It's Gunther. So, yeah, this is the one-stop location for guns, ammo, more guns, hopefully more ammo, but everybody knows how modern ammo prices are. It is amusingly and literally right across the street from the courthouse. So you are going to be aware, because you've probably heard Ash griping about it, that Gunther there, his dad, is very much a super anti-government kind of guy, and he pays like an absurd amount of money just to have this building across from the courthouse. So he can advertise anti-government stuff, and with posters and stuff like that outside.
He's best friends
Cool.
with the general contractor that I work for, isn't he?
He might be, yeah. The name is both a pun on Gunther's name and in honor of his late wife, who was even more of a gun nut than he is. He's going to see you coming in.
He found true love.
He's like, oh, what do you want?
Is Ash about?
Probably. Should check the basement. He's probably doing that interwebs thing.
And Draven's going to sort of point to the door. That way?
Like, nope, it's over here. And it's they have like a little it's a stairwell behind the counter that goes down into the thing, and he's like gonna like kick the door open. He's like, "Hey, Ash, what? That weirdo knife guy is here for you."
Draven will give him a disapproving look.
And he's gonna go, "What?
Not a
You should
knife guy.
you should use a gun like a normal person.
Knife
I can
guy?
get you a nice nice little deal here on this Desert Eagle. Big fellow like you."
Desert Eagle might make a good throwing gun.
Well, to be fair, he probably hasn't seen you running around with the katana on your back.
I'll pass this time.
You're missing out. And he will let you venture down into the basement of, Ash's computer stuffs. And
So-
he's totally going to have a clue wall with crazy stuff on it.
So Draven will. The first thing he'll say is he, gets to the basement. He says, "So Ash, what do you know?"
I know everything. I managed to finally get approved to hook up to the Paranet.
Nice. What have you learnt?
Well, the war isn't going pretty well for the Wizards. Also, I did confirm that there is actually a wizard in Chicago who is openly advertising in the phone book. It's the weirdest thing.
And what's he advertising?
Just occurred to me. Hold on. I can share that thing. Well, he's advertising being a wizard.
Like a legit wizard, or are we talking kids' parties wizard?
Mark is over there snickering. I just know it.
I gotta smile. I'm smiling.
Hold on, I am
Trying to
importing
imagine it.
something really quick.
Actually,
Trying to imagine a kid's party that he's doing tricks at.
I can't remember what he actually advertised his shop as.
He goes, "Yeah, here you go," and he pulls a thing that's clearly from a old Chicago phone book. Harry Dresden, wizard. Got the address, reasonable rates, lost items found, paranormal investigations, consulting and advice, no love potions, no endless purses, no parties or other entertainment.
Is Dresden a reputable name?
Let's see. I wonder what are the hidden lores that you actually have. You have hidden lore vampires, so you will know that the vampire, the Red Court are frankly terrified of this dude. He's
So
the dreaded.
he does have a rep then.
Oh yeah, Ash can start spinning elaborate long stories and tales about what this guy has apparently done.
Something about zombie dinosaurs.
Let me check and see if that's actually happened yet. I don't remember where I am in the time frame. Deadbeat has happened, yeah. So he will mention that this dude first sort of popped up on his radar a couple years back when some video actually showed up. It was as you would expect, kind of not particularly great focus. It looked like it was taken from a cell phone, and it was him literally fighting some sort of giant, I don't know, werewolf or something, some sort of monster. And he was like twirling light and stuff like that. And it was sort of disproved, but not. And then it's just all sorts of confusing. But he's been linked to a lot of really weird supernatural stuff that's going on up there in Chicago.
Well, speaking of supernatural stuff, it's kind of what I'm here for. Has there been anything weird going on in the last, say, week, few days?
You mean apart from the fact that we had a big ass earthquake and the house blew up?
Uh-huh.
And he just sort of checks. He's like, "Yeah, I heard at least they lost a cop somewhere."
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But there's been that. There the usual weird sightings up there at the glass factory that of another Bigfoot. That's clearly BS, though. I mean, big feet don't exist.
By the way, you should probably share the picture of Ash. Sorry.
Oh, did I not? I'm sorry. My mistake, your fault. He totally is Bruce Campbell. He once worked at S-Mart, but then they closed.
So what can you tell me about this dig site, the Indian burial ground or whatever it is?
Not a lot. Sort of, does some little typing. It's probably kind of amusing to watch him type because he's like a two-finger typist. But he will pull up what little he can, and he's like, it's mostly some part-time archaeologist students or something from Miskatonic out in, I don't know, where is that? It's near Boston, Massachusetts. They claim to find some ancient stuff, or a previous dig was out there, claimed to find some ancient stuff that simply can't exist because it was like from Sumer. Yeah, I think that's what that says, Sumer. From way, way back when.
It's from Summeria.
Summeria. There we go. He's totally going to mispronounce it. It was in some of the papers, but everybody's thinking it's kind of some sort of fake because for whatever reason, that's just not possible. So they sent this new team out.
Are you able to search on the whatever it is, and find out if the earthquake is centered around that dig site at all?
No, I don't need to do that. I can just pull up this and pull up the I don't know what the official thing is, but there is an
U.S.
earthquake
Geological
site.
Survey.
That's the thing, and you can drill down, and it looks like it's close based off of the maps. It looks like it's close, a couple miles away from there, but the more you're looking at the map, the more it looks like the epicenter was the house that blew up. That was the GM telling you, not him.
And who's running this dig?
Well, it's supposed to be some Dr. Kavanaugh, but I haven't heard of her in town. I can poke around and try to find out.
That would be good.
Why are you so interested in the dig site? Are there going to be zombies there?
Draven shrugs and says, I have no idea, but I got a gut feeling that it's linked in some way to what's going on.
Huh. Well, okay. Then I will take a look at it and see what I can find out. It'd be neat if there are zombies. I've always wanted to see a zombie.
They are both evil and dead.
I wish I
pretty
had thought of
sure.
that.
I'm pretty sure you don't want to see a zombie.
Back to me.
What?
Hurting zombies.
Right. So, yeah, he will, poke into it and let you know what he finds out.
Much appreciated.
Okay. So the following day is going to be Monday. Before I jump to Monday, I need to jump really quickly back to Eric. I do need to jump back to Fran Javier and Eric because when he arrives at his mom's house, oh yeah, I should probably share mom and such. Arrives at mom's house. He's going to find her arguing with his younger sister, or youngest sister, because both of his sisters are younger. Faith, about whether Faith is going to go with or skip school tomorrow and go with mom to officially identify Victor's body, because mom was listed as next of kin. So for the paperwork, she has to officially do it, even though everybody already knows who it was. My primary question to Eric is, does he get involved in the argument?
Yes, he would try to be a peacemaker and try to calm both parties down.
So he's not taking a side?
So mom wants Faith to go with, right?
No, mom wants Faith to go to school because, well,
Oh, and
it's
Faith
school.
wants to go see the body.
Yeah, because it's her brother.
I will, knowing what Victor looks like, I will try to reason or try to persuade Faith not to go see the body at this time. Because I've seen the body and I don't want her to remember her brother in this way.
Okay, so throw in there a diplomacy check to see how successful you are. Although since she's a teenager, she's probably going to take it the wrong way regardless. Do you know how teenagers are? Everybody knows how teenagers are. They're terrible. They're the devil. Yep, she's going to take it the wrong way. But mom's basically going to end up, saying, no, you're not. You're going to school. As you're attempting to be the peacemaker, but sadly, it was a little bit less than stellar success. Okay.
Well, technically, diplomacy doesn't create a bad reaction. Now I have to roll a reaction roll, right?
Yeah, but this is a teenager.
And you're dealing with a teenager.
A teenager.
So this is more like a cutscene.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to see how successful you'd be. I'm totally not crit hunting at all.
Well, I could, on top of that, I could I could really explain what he looks like.
Yeah, that's really going to help her imagination.
And say that's why I don't want you to physically see him. Because I know what he looks like, and this is what he looks like.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Probably what you actually did.
So
Probably.
the following day is going to be Monday. What I'm going to need from everyone is to give me a 3d6 roll in the box, please.
Before we move on too much,
Yep.
when Draven was at Ash's place, he would hand him his phone and say, "Do you know how to do that Find My Phone stuff?" And he's going to say, yeah, his mum's phone number.
What the hell are you doing, Mark?
I'm just waiting.
I've looked at my skills and I've determined that Draven is probably not very tech savvy at all.
Okay, so that is
How stereotypical.
Wow. Okay. Way to go, everybody. That's awesome. All right. So if you glance
all
at the
get
combat,
mugged.
now if you glance at the combat tracker, everybody will note that your fatigue is down 1 point. That is because all night you suffer from severe nightmares. Even though basically what I did there is everybody except for McArthur and Ryder had a effective skill or effective nightmares. What's the word? Of 12. Since McArthur has a quirk level nightmares, I put his at 9, and since Ryder actually has the disad, he had it at 6, and every one of you failed.
Nice.
So good job, guys. So you experienced serious nightmares last night, and when you wake up, it's like you remember sort of being chased by some sort of unspeakable evil. At around dark 30 in the morning, say, I don't know, 2:30, 3:30, something like that, comm junkie McArthur is rudely awakened to find a knife at his throat. And more troublesome, you seem to have been zip tied to your crappy bed.
Yep.
Not
He's
good.
about to get bobbited.
Is this because I tried to kiss you? That I opened my
And
eyes.
the person leans down, and it is most definitely not May, but it's like her mom, and she's like, looking at it, and she's like, "Who are you? You're not me. You're not you, even though you're wearing his skin."
Is that what you call it? Well, I don't know how you know, and you obviously seem to know even more than I do. And I will explain. It's like I don't know what happened. I was investigating. I was running some leads. I made contact with Hugh. I knew him from back in my army days. And next thing I know, he's betraying me to some of his gang members. Hugh shot me, and as I was lying there, I watched him get shot. Next thing I know, I'm pulling myself up from the dirt and watching some of these Hugh's companions bury my body. Things get a little blurry from there, and I'm pushing, and then I recall pushing Hugh's bike down the road, and things have only gotten more confusing since then.
She will definitely lean back, and she's like very, very quiet, and she mutters something under her breath that you can't quite make out. She's like, "I don't want to do this, but I have to do this." And then she leans forward and locks gazes with you. And you feel like you are falling. And for a second, it's like you suddenly see her sort of like standing in a hazy, misty twilight. She's like holding up one of those really old-timey lanterns that seems to cast this feeble light. And behind her are two figures. One of them you definitely recognize as May, and the other you vaguely recognize, boy. Oh, where the hell? Shit, damn it. I did not put that in my stupid doohickey. But a part of you definitely does recognize that as June. And April is basically like leading her daughter and granddaughter through a very, very treacherous environment. And with each step, like a drop of blood falls from her hand. And she's very obviously getting progressively weaker as she's stepping, but she's not refusing to stop until she's led them to safety. And then you jerk back into your body. So yes, that was clearly like a Soulgaze. Now, what I'd like is for you to tell me what she sees.
Oh, yes.
Mark's like, you had to do this now without warning.
well- You remember that clip from Event Horizon?
No, it's probably not that grotesque.
He was in hell.
Well, it's a little bit more than that.
It's a
'Cause
mixed
you'd
up
see-
marshmallow mess of
Yeah.
like 3 different.
Yeah, she would see. It would, yeah, that's right. It would be dispersed between 3 different perspectives and personalities. There would be a bounce from an agent, a driven agent who is driven by loss, a angel who is fighting and dying for a cause, and a lost soul who has gotten in way over his head. The
All 3 of them
underlying
are tied together somehow.
all are tied together. The underlying theme is not revenge, but some form of desire. Yeah, in Hughes' case, in the original McArthur's case, is to do better, be better, but constantly being a failure at it, in the worst ways. The other is fighting for a righteous cause, and the other is to put an end to I guess do good as well. Like there's a but at what trying to fight basically the Mac's original thing was he was a DEA agent, and he was driven to against the cartels and the various other things, but he did bad in trying to do good. So one is doing bad while trying to be good, or trying to do good while being bad, being good while doing bad, and an angel kind of tying them together to try and seeing something in them, and then
gripping you tight and raising you from perdition.
I'm not a bad guy.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
needed to
I
be
totally
turned off
should've-
and turned back on again.
Totally should have mentioned that. He absolutely has some scars on his shoulders where it's like, hands, where it's like, it literally looks like something very large grabbed him by the shoulders, and now it left a scar. Okay, so the 2 of you sort of like recoil. It's a little harder since you're like zip tied to the bed. Like, holy crap. So you may want to make a note when you are interacting with April in the future. You are always treated as if you have empathy with her. So you will gain a +3 to detect lies. Well, honestly, that's the only one that, and so psychology and fortune telling, which honestly isn't as useful. But detect lies, you always have a +3 against her, and she will have the same against you. For those of you unfamiliar with what happened, is in the Dresden verse, those people are people with a sufficient level of magical power can do a soul gaze, where they basically lock eyes with someone. Well, they have to have a soul, so it doesn't really work against vampires or undead critters. But when that happens, they glimpse the other person's soul. The problem is it works both ways at the same time.
Soulgaze, not Wizard's Sight. That was true.
Right. No, the site is just like True Scene, but True Scene with a photographic memory modifier, maybe, because you can never
cannot
ever
unsee
forget it. Yeah. So she will, obviously recoil. It's like, putting her hand to our head, like she's got a really, really bad headache. She's like, huh, well, evidently you're not lying. And then she will use the knife to, cut the zip ties, and we'll comment. It's like, I don't want to know why you had these zip ties. I'm sorry, why you had these zip ties here.
I'll raise an eyebrow. Like, I don't know.
And she will pause as she's about to leave, and give you a look with a it's very clearly a stern look, where she's like, if you hurt my daughter, I will kill you.
I can respect that.
And if you hurt my granddaughter, it'll be worse.
Understood.
What if they hurt me?
And then she almost stumbles on a discarded construction hat, a hard hat that you had tossed off the bed. So it sort of takes away, kind of maybe robs it from it, but maybe not. So the question I have is, how does Mac react to that? Does he even have any idea what just happened?
Probably not. Things are just as strange. Actually, I'm trying to think. Sorry. It's early morning on a Monday, right?
Yeah. So you'll probably end up going back to sleep. Hopefully, maybe not.
And convince himself it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, he'll probably. So
my ex's mom totally didn't.
No, actually, before she leaves, he'll call out to us like, "What's my daughter's name?"
And she will, hesitate and consider. Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, do I do? And it's like, June. Her name's June.
Thank you. And he'll start to turn away. He's like, wait, what's your name?
But she's already gone.
Dang it.
Although, since, June and May, it's probably not hard to go, nah, it couldn't be. Her name couldn't be that. Nah.
So on the nose. But
does that mean June, when she has a kid, is going to have to name her kid July?
Julia.
Yep.
Unless I guess it's a boy, in which case it could be Julio.
Julio, yeah.
Or Jules.
So what he'll do is he'll kind of, since he was exhausted the night before, he'll actually start looking through his apartment and looking for like personal effects, that kind of thing, pictures, anything that can help put pieces together.
And he's going to definitely be experiencing weird moments of deja vu, almost flashbacks, stuff like that,
Yep.
as he's like picking up the detritus of Yu's actual life. Evidently, he used to work at a construction company in town. He likes a certain kind of beer.
He'll take note of the construction company and look at the clock or his watch to see what time.
Oh, right now it's still really early.
But he'll take note of the time and trying to figure out how, and then decide that he'll show up wherever that is early and see if he can get something going. Because you'll also notice like a pile of bills that are like 30 days past due and that kind of thing.
Noted. All right. So, in the morning, as noted, as previously stated, everybody wakes up from various nightmares, feeling a little tired, a little bad.
How long has it been since the explosion?
That would be
A little over 24 hours now.
a little over 24 hours, yes.
Boop.
Oh, I should probably have checked about whether Hurt ended up. Maybe he should end up having to make a health check.
Too late.
Well, it did occur to me that it's like, Deputy Piquet is like a little put out there because it's like this is a difficult situation she's in right now because, well, there's a body and technically she should report that, but it's on Octina ground or Octina
Oh, is it on the res?
land. Yeah, it's his cabin is in a weird spot where there's constant disagreements over who owns it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's like, there's not really a lot of decent land there. It's like nobody local really gives a damn because it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You guys can have that there, Mr. Navajo tribe. All right, so I'm going to see who we jump to. It's going, wow, okay, Finlay. Finlay, that would be Ethan. Is he there?
Yes, I apologize. I've been trying to plan tomorrow with Mom.
The hell are you doing that for? We're gaming.
Other folks were waiting on questions. I do apologize.
Right. So in the morning, you will end up at the school and
Yes.
the library.
Nice.
I told you, Daniel.
I think I recognize that library.
Why do you recognize that library?
Is that not the Buffy library?
It very much might be the Buffy library.
Ah, well, how convenient.
Okay, so soon after you will be there, double checking your usual stuff. One of the teachers who is actually the acting principal, she is the acting principal because the a bunch of the senior management unfortunately passed away from the coof. And they were old and such like that. But she will, like step into the library and ask if you are available to fill in for Mr. Buys, the history teacher, because he has evidently been he's like in quarantine because he apparently has the coof.
It seems to be getting everybody these days. Of course, yes.
Right. So you should be aware that, or he's definitely aware that Miss Frost has like been filling in for the late principal, several other of the dinosaur administrators, and by training, she's just supposed to be the English teacher. But yeah, she very clearly looks tired, stressed, and will give you, but she will give you the his rotation about who he is, what classes he has, when they're at.
What does Finlay do?
While
he'll gladly fill in.
while taking roll in one of the classes, one of the first ones, you will note that your stalker, who was where the hell? Come on, there we go. Who is a Faith Lopez, appears to be out today. And several of the students are commenting that you are, because of course they are. They're like, whispering that her brother was the sheriff's deputy that was, killed in that occult arrest thing. According to what they're saying, it's like, he was part of a team that busted a big ring of Satanists. There was like a shootout or something.
And he will think to himself that he'll probably need to send along his condolences.
Okay, so I have two things to. Okay, so give me a teaching check. You can do a history US to as an assist against the teaching, and based off of what I have seen, your shyness mod is already applied. See, guys, he knows things. Whew. You tried to. You almost got a little distracted when some of the smarter kids started asking some leading questions, because by now they know how to avoid getting out of actual work when you're substituting. They just need to ask you leading questions that ends up going down a rabbit hole. But ultimately, you manage to not completely screw it up. And you will eventually find that Faith is actually playing hooky in the library. How
That seems
did
like
he
it was.
react?
Well, he's asked and has offered his assistance to the principal, so he'll continue along with the rotation and just, but quietly noted away as, wonder if that was an intentional. Well, okay, being hooky is intentional, but playing hooky and then going to the library and it just so happened to coincide with not being there is a quite the striking coincidence.
Well, you probably have doubt. I am presuming that this is like after you have finished your stuff. So it's like you go in there and you find out she's like, I don't know, sitting someplace and like reading something or staring out the window. But clearly she wasn't in class.
Okay. I thought it was. I'd heard it secondhand. Okay.
No, sorry, my mistake. Mark's fault.
Seems appropriate. So he will he will then walk up to her and wish her condolences for what she's going through.
As soon as you get there, and you like, even say, my condolences or something, she's gonna like, snap to like, oh, she's clearly super distracted, jump to her feet. But when she sees you, her eyes get a little wide, and she gets a little stammery, and then she asks if she can talk to you someplace else, because this place creeps her out.
The library creeps you out. I don't understand kids these days. Very well, and I might have an office or at least a cubicle somewhere.
Danger, danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, are you sure you want to be alone
Leave
with
the door
a 16
open.
or 17-year-old?
Well, doors will be open and all that, and
Well, how
but-
clueless is
or
you to
at the very least,
opposite
blinds
sex?
open, sort of a thing.
That's true. Hold on, I have to look. I think he did. Oh, damn, he did take Oblivious.
Uh-oh.
Don't stand so close to me.
I totally joked with him about that. She's like, no, not here. It's like, I miss lunch. Can we go get something to eat? There's something really important I need to talk to you about.
Oh, very well.
That's totally not going to cause Eric any heartburn down the road, is it?
Nope.
Oops, that's the wrong one. I am trying. All right, where the hell is it? There it is. And click on that. There we go. Okay, so who is next? All right, Hurt. What is Hurt doing in the morning
Well, at some
during the
point,
day?
at some point last night, he needed to plant evidence. And if he wasn't able to get to it last night, he's going to have to get to it today.
Well, he's going to have to find them first.
Which shouldn't be too hard. I'm sure they're all over this place. Especially if this is kind of a no man's land. Although McKay might have some kind of weird defense system keeping him off the property.
The problem is you're going to plant some coyotes, and he actually meant coyotes.
Hey, it's what if he wasn't specific enough, that's his fault.
Oh, right.
You plant one of each just to be safe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you text him. Is like, did you mean coyotes or coyotes? Question mark. Yeah, and you also mentioned that you were reaching out to your handlers,
Right.
who did respond and would have basically told you to cooperate with the state police without actually telling him the entire truth, since technically the company is part of or is buried into Homeland Security, so you actually are on the rolls as a contractor,
which I learned after the session last week.
So they will continue or ensure that your cover is a little more airtight. Once how much?
Start looking into the identities.
Yeah, and right. I was trying to remember what the other stuff was, but so identities. Obviously, McArthur is immediately going to come up as criminal, ex-military, but when they say criminal, it's like, well, what did we say, Mark? Never convicted.
Never convicted.
Ryder is got very little social media presence. I mean, he's not quite zeroed as I understand it, but he is definitely not really on the grid a lot.
Probably not.
So
He probably only has Facebook so that he can follow Star Wars fan groups.
I probably don't know all the last names and everything here either, so I might not be able to identify him that way. So
well,
it may take him some
sending
time.
if you're sending the pictures, they're like so yeah, it'll take Ryder a bit, and ditto with Graham, and I think that was the only other person because Lopez wasn't involved.
Well, Lopez was there at the time. He's probably in some of the pictures, whether or not I was taking them directly of him.
So it'll have Lopez and the two deputies. What is it? The sergeant and deputy. I don't remember what the other guys.
Now, given that I got the ride to McKay's place before I made that call, I will ask about the Uktana and whatever other details I can recall from that conversation, as distracted as I may have been at the time.
They will inform you, or the brain cramp. With regards to the Utina, they don't have a lot of information. They are definitely interested in learning more about them. You are probably going to be redirected to an intelligence dude who will give you some of the information. I think it's it's intelligence or analysis. I think it is going to be, well, doesn't matter. So the Utina are known. They know the company knows they have some sort of supernatural link, but they have not been quite able to ascertain exactly what it is because all attempts to infiltrate the tribe have met with brutal failure. The Uktena also have something of a reputation as being very, very closed to.
Xenophobic?
I wouldn't say necessarily xenophobic, but they're definitely closed. It's a closed culture. They were already on that the Mesa, the Mesa Pueblo that they apparently took before the United States was a thing. In fact, before or maybe before or around when Columbus was first doing his thing. So they've been there for a while, but every attempt in the past by American governments or governments in general to gain access to said Sky City has not ended well. What is it? From some of the records, they know the conquistadors during Coronado's expedition actually reached there and made at least 3 attempts to capture it, but were turned back with heavy casualties. The Spanish, the Mexicans, and finally the U.S. would all attempt to make concentrated attempts to subjugate the Uktena, but have failed or with limited success. And then in the 19th century, the Bureau of Indian Affairs just declared the Mesa to be a reservation so they could go victory. So they would very much like any of the information that you end up gathering.
So Hurt will, well, actually, so Hurt came here on his own, but the company decided to back his play here. So technically, his primary mission is to find what happened to McKay, which he has given them some information in that regard. I don't have to go over it, but he'll be telling about the ghouls and that sort of thing.
Actually, what you will find out once you name drop the Namiragar is they are not technically ghouls. They're like a related species to ghouls, but they're not officially ghouls.
Okay, well he'll get a breakdown of those things, so he'll have his temporary hidden lore for that. But so he is still attempting to determine whether or not they are responsible and why they're here. So that's the primary mission, and then secondary mission is to infiltrate the Utena, I guess now.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you'll have to, I guess, pump them for information. It's just up to you determine how many times.
Mm-hmm. I think I can slide in somehow. All right, so but for today, so if he was able to do the Coyotes last night, then he will
Probably
today be trying to get a place in town and maybe find a cover job.
Okay. Well, I figure you got back to the cabin around noonish, or a little after noonish. So the Deputy Begay ended up having to like, okay, I'm gonna have to go talk to Nine Fingers since McKay is gone, and you would have to do whatever it is you're gonna do with this body, whether it's like eat it,
just
or
occurred to me.
bury it,
I need
or,
to probably need to bury it.
and then you'd probably spend some time trying to clean up some of the blood in there. And then what is there a hunting? How do you do hunting? I seem to remember we had that. I'm gonna look that up. I don't think
there's a tracking bit to it. Yeah.
Quick, Brian, how do you do that?
It's in Dungeon Fantasy Wilderness.
That is unacceptable.
I think it's in quite a few places.
You should have known it off the top of your head. We are super disappointed with both of you.
But that's probably a good place
GM
to start.
Probably
damn it.
should have known it from the top of his head.
Clicked on the wrong thing. Blah, blah, blah. That is super important.
Hunting on land, roll against any ranged weapon skill at -4 plus the weapon's accuracy. Alternate. Wow, is that it? What about survival or tracking?
Right. Well, they simplified it for Dungeon Fantasy.
My God. So yeah, -4 plus whatever. Yeah, it's not going to be hard at all for you to do that. I'm not even going to make you frickin' roll.
So the idea was to put the suppressor on the rifle and go out and use auto fire and really light up the biggest, mangiest coyotes he can find.
Again, is it coyotes or is it coyotes?
Whatever.
PETA is unhappy.
And
yeah, poor Jose. He was just doing his job, and then you lit him up.
So the idea is to take those bodies to the site at some point when he figures the cops aren't there, or he'll just hide out until they leave. And
honestly, he can probably, once he gets within visual and he's got the scope, he can see that there's not going to be anybody there. They don't have the manpower to keep an eye on it.
So he's going to use the jack in the Jeep and jack up some of the debris to throw the bodies under it and then drop it down on them.
Okay, so
He doesn't
I want
have
to
to
look.
fool a super forensic scientist. He's just got to fool a basic cop for the time being. It's up to Graham to sell it.
Okay, so in that case, that's going to probably end up being he's not going to have gotten any sleep.
Yeah, maybe not.
So the one that he is down is going to be from lack of sleep, not nightmares.
Okay, well, in that case, in the morning, once he's finally done with all that crap, he's going to go find a place in town to stay and probably crash. He is going to leave his bug out bag at McKay's in a nice hidden place, probably in his secret bunker,
And he
because I know he has
sadly-
one.
And he buried his old friend. So sad. He's super sad.
I'm sure there's-
He will go ahead.
I'm sure there's some kind of Kanzop ceremony thing that we. Oh wait, no, I got shot in the head before anybody else ever died.
So he will locate the place, and just as he is about to crash, he will get a text from Graham, who will arrange to meet you at a local diner this evening, so you can have your discussion.
Right. Okay. I'm going to sleep until then.
He's going to try to sleep till then.
I'm going to try to sleep until then.
I certainly hope there's nobody next door that's, watching The Empire Strikes Back really loud. Because I must admit, that'd be funny.
That is oddly specific.
It's because it's the greatest movie of all time. All time. Fight me. Mac said he was going to show up at a construction site.
Yep.
That'd be you, Mark.
Yep.
This is obviously not entirely right because that's the best one that I'm like, yeah, that'll work. But let's construction site and more. This is the construction company. And the owner of said construction company will get out of his truck and as he sees you, he's like, "Oh, you're back."
I need some work. If you'll have me. I'm sorry for how I left things last time, but I'm willing to put forth the sweat and effort.
Well, you're usually pretty as long as you're here, you can do some stuff. But I will totally throw you out if you leave again.
That's fair.
We're down a couple people because they're pansies and claiming they're sick. Pandemic, my ass.
I'll chuckle. You got that right, boss. Where you need me?
They are going to be going to he's on a time crunch. There needs some work done on one of the out of town places. So he's going to take his crew, and he'll probably take you as well, because they need to put up a new deck and some other stuff. And I am going to cycle back to you here shortly.
Right.
But they're not going to get sent to go clear the rubble at the exploded house?
Not yet. he'll probably end up getting that. Oh, and I'm sorry. You did notice as you were entering his place of business that there are actually some signs out that are, Swanson for mayor. He could I possibly do a worse job? That sort of thing.
I'll tap one of the signs as I'm walking by. I'd vote for you, sir.
Well, make sure you do when it comes around in November. Lopez, I am presuming they're Fran Javier, that you are going to be taking Mom into the hospital.
Not immediately.
I mean, in the morning.
Not immediately, because I'm going to tell Mom to come to the hospital at a later time, because I need to do the autopsy on Victor, and I need to clean him up before she sees him.
Okay.
So I'll give her a time frame when she can drop by, and if she gets defensive or whatever, I'll just explain. I don't want you to remember him the way he is looking right now. I want you to remember him in a good way. So just give me that, please.
She will relent. She's clearly not super excited about doing this in the first place, but hey, you got to do what you got to do.
So I will give her a time frame as when she can drop by, and that'll probably be the first thing I'm going to do when I get to the hospital is, but before I go to the hospital, question, the ER doctor from the other day, the female, what does she look like? Do you have a picture?
Did I not share Dr. Mahoney?
Yeah, you've shared Dr. Mahoney.
Dr. Mahoney.
Ah, yes. She's definitely not Mexican. Okay.
No, she's not.
And knowing how ragged she was the day before, he will get a coffee on the way to the hospital. Pick up some coffee for her.
What was your question, Daniel? It sounded like you're about to ask something.
No.
So on the way in, he'll get some coffee, and more than likely she'll probably, I don't know if she'll be there or not. If she is, he'll head up to her and offer her the coffee.
You are a god among men. I've kind of needed this.
So how was your night, Mahoney? How are you doing?
It's long and tiresome.
I hear
Shouldn't
you.
even be on shift, but Lewis went and disappeared on us.
When did Lewis disappear? Have we?
I don't know.
Has
He
anybody
should have been here, the night of the damned earthquake.
Has anybody gotten a hold of him? Called him?
No idea. You'd have to talk to the admin people.
May have to do that. Just so it sounds. How reliable has he been in the past?
He's normal.
Okay.
And he's probably sleeping off a bender in Las Cruces or something.
Well, if you need my help, I can help, but I do need to do some autopsies first. So if I have time afterwards, I'll come and help you if you need it, okay?
No, we're fine now. We don't have, as long as we don't have more earthquakes or buildings exploding.
Well, if you are open to it, and if you need lunch or dinner later today, I'd be more than willing to spot you.
She will yawn, because she's clearly been up all day. She's like, "No, once I'm getting off shift, I will have to go home and crash. I'll take a rain check on that."
I would like that. Well, take care, Dr. Mahoney. I'll see you later.
And
Bye.
she will definitely correct you. It's like, "No, it's Denise."
Ah, Denise. Okay, Denise. I'll remember that.
D nice. Is there a D nice in Mass?
That's right.
So I will head down to the morgue. On the way, I will check with if I've done any of the running of the fingerprints for the zombie, whatever. I would check with admin first to see if there's any cases related to someone losing their hand and dying.
Not here.
Not here. Okay. So after that, I would head to the morgue. Then I would start working on my brother's body. I'll do the full autopsy first. Again, I would be setting up 2 sets of notes. One set giving the full accurate information, and another set basically, yeah, he was mauled by coyotes. Cause of death, major blood loss due to goring, something like that. But after that, I will use my medic skill to clean him up as much as possible, sew him up, make him very presentable as much as possible.
Yeah, you have sufficiently high skill in that regard. I'm not going to even necessarily make you make that check. You can do that as well as you can. You will be contacted. One of the admin guys, or phone call from the sheriff, who is wanting to know when you are bringing your mom in, because he feels like it'd be his duty to be there as well.
Basically, whatever time frame I know I'm going to be done with Victor's when she can come, so I'll provide that time frame.
And based off of the echoey, you being in the morgue area, he will confirm that if you're already there, he can swing by and pick her up.
I would appreciate that, Sheriff.
And the time will come, and good old Sheriff Rogers will show up. Interestingly enough, so does Chief Enriquez. They clearly, simply based off body language alone, they're trying to avoid interacting with one another, but they are definitely keeping their enmity on the down low for your mom. But she reacts about as well as you would expect. It's a very sad moment.
And I will be there to comfort her.
And you will also learn that the funeral expenses are already covered since Victor died in the line of duty. So Maria doesn't have to worry about that. And okay, and then once they're done, you can your mom will tell you to go back to work. She's got plenty of other stuff that she needs to do. She's probably going to swing by the church and interact with the priest to discuss the funeral arrangements and such like that. And your other sister, Patience, is supposed to arrive today as well.
Okay. I'll be here when Patience arrives.
So something did just occur to me with regards to the autopsy. I suspect an autopsy is probably a routine thing. So that's going to probably push your frickin' medical skill up to 18 for that.
Probably, because that's what I do for pretty much investigate crime scenes, the bodies.
With regards to that, are you taking any extra time on the women? Because I remember we're going with like an hour for you, since you're so skilled at it.
Well, I probably took additional time for Victor because I really wanted to understand, truly get to what killed him and also taking the extra time to clean them up as much as possible.
Yeah,
in
it's probably
preparation.
10 or 11 o'clock right now.
Hint, it wasn't Coyotes.
I know it wasn't Coyotes. I'm going to
know.
blame it on Coyotes.
Oh, I know you know.
It was Mark. Mark did it. Maybe it was Ryder. He's the guy running around with all the sword
Yeah,
stuff.
the
All
slashing
the
weapons,
Hmm.
All the ghouls were Mark.
knives,
So-
stabbing weapons.
Do you guys have routine modifier?
No, in this case, that's putting your skill at 18, dude. I'm
Yeah, I
I'm
got
not
it.
even gonna make you. I'm not even gonna make you make that check. Geez.
I mean, as of right now, what I would do is I would, if examining the first woman was to come up with any abnormalities, then
Well, there's going to be abnormalities. That's a fact.
then I would be taking some additional time. Probably not, similar to the zombie, to make sure I'm catching everything that I need to catch.
Okay, so we're gonna guesstimate about 2 hours per.
Probably. I mean, it may
So that's
short.
11.
Well, here's the thing,
1,
though.
3.
If it's starting to become routine, and that what I'm seeing is similar with each body, then it probably won't need to be 2 hours for every body. It'll probably shorten if it's the same thing. If it's all different, then
Yeah, but you still have to go through the process, recording what you're seeing, such like that. You can't just like, oh, I'm skipping this part because I've seen it already.
correct. But what I'm saying is what I'm trying to say is what is 10 bodies? How many females?
9. There are 9.
9.
Complacency is a terrible thing.
I'm not saying complacency. What I'm saying is I'm seeing the same thing over and over again. So therefore, yep, I see that. Yep, I see that. I see that.
But that's
I
the
see that.
problem. The problem there is I'm seeing the same thing means you're not looking for something different, and that you're
True.
And if you're not looking for something different, you're being complacent and saying, "Oh, this looks exactly like that, so I don't have to look further."
Okay, true. I would be doing my due diligence on each body. So yes, I would be giving, considering the
So-
circumstances that I heard, I would be giving extra time.
So it's probably going to be you'll probably get about 3 of them done today since you had the other stuff. I will just cover that. So the initial non-exploratory examination does turn up something odd, and you can see this on all of them once you see it on the first one, is all of them have like 5 sort of small circle-like burns or something in the area over their chest and breasts, roughly where their heart should be. But beyond that, I mean, it's not like there's any entry or exit wounds. It's just these weird burns. None of them show any indications of having been raped, which sucks because you have to even check that. But nor is there any immediate external indication of how they died.
I'm guessing those burns are about the size of a fingertip, maybe.
They might actually be the size of a fingertip. Yeah, it's really weird. Which
Could I relate it
Eric,
to-
being having an IQ of 14 will freaking be able to notice that?
Yeah, probably. Would that be a taser? What is it?
No, that's like fingertips.
Actual fingertips. Can I actually see any kind of, is there, looking at the wounds closer, can I actually see that it is an actual fingertip? I mean, can I actually see the print?
No, there's not a print. It looks like an actual burn, but it's not like melting the fingertip or fingerprint into the body. When you open up the first one, you are, well, probably less than surprised to discover that she is in fact missing her heart. However, there were no entry or exit wounds to remove said heart, apart from the big Y incision that you just put in there.
Is there ash?
Ash? How do you mean?
Well, fire on the circle, maybe her heart was burned up.
Ah, interesting. It does not appear to be any ash. No.
Any salt from the previous corpses?
There does not appear to be any. No.
So heart removed, cause of removal unknown. Biggest thing is a burn area over their heart, and that is the size of a fingertip.
And on all three of the ones that you investigate, they also appear to have suffered from intercerebral hemorrhage, which is bleeding on the brain, within the brain, like an artery or something burst there. But there are no other indications of cerebral trauma that would cause that kind of hemorrhage. Something like that. That's totally right, Mark. How did you know? You're going to fight Molaran. Who's going to pick up the Sankara stones, though?
Halima Shatiri.
I want a short round now.
And while you, soon after you are, or probably not soon after, but about after the second one, you will likely get a text from Lieutenant Graham, who is attempting to arrange a dinner, not a dinner. He wants to chat at a local diner this evening. He's planning on speaking with Hurt, and he'd like to discuss some of his findings and go over what you found.
I would definitely take a break to go.
Well, it looks like he's scheduling this after around 6-ish, or maybe 4 or 5, something like that. I'm not sure. Brain cramp there, because I was like, whoa, can't do 6-ish.
What time is Patience coming?
Oh, she's probably already there with your mom.
So it'd be obviously I'd probably again bring them in.
He's probably going for 4. Yeah, it's probably 4. Sorry.
So it'd be after
it would
the
be
third.
It would be around. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I can definitely do that. And I'd bring one. I would be putting the again utilizing my knowledge and stuff to try to come up with some reasonable explanation for how these women died that would make sense to normal people. Which is damn confusing, but I'll try to come up with some convoluted way of figuring out. The men with the missing organs, I would say that looks like someone harvested their organs. We may want to check local black markets, clinics or whatever to see if their organs pop up there.
So noted. All right. So Ronki, what is Ryder doing this morning or today when he wakes up after having some pretty bad nightmares?
He's going to try and check in with Ash, see if he found out anything, if he managed to find my phone on his mum. Otherwise, he's going to... I think it was Hugh that said he was interested in going to the dig site.
I believe he did mention that at some point.
Yeah, I did. And I'd forgotten that I mentioned it.
So then
he's
he'll
had a very busy couple days or day or so.
So
I
he will.
found out I had a daughter. And I can't tell. I'm guessing she's not my wife anymore, or was my wife, or whatever. But
or was never your wife,
or never. or never my wife.
So she's your baby mama.
So far, yes.
So he might.
That's just like you to totally make a promise and then not show up.
He might go track down Hugh and see if he wants to sneak out to the dig site.
Okay,
So
how's he gonna find him?
So the two largest men in the group are gonna go sneak.
Dude, Ryder's like a ninja. Have you seen his stealth is like crazy high? Well, 16. That's still pretty crazy high. And I think McArthur's got a 14, so they're kind of sneaky.
It's
Now
like
I'm
an elephant
envisioning this.
sneaking.
I'm envisioning this 6'6", super ripped dude in a crazy skin tight ninja suit, and everybody's like, "What is he wearing?"
He just carries a little tree branch and people mistake him for a tree.
Right. So he's going to probably spend a good portion of the day trying to track down Mac, just trying to find out where the heck he is.
And I don't know if Hurt made any indications that he was interested in stuff as well.
He hadn't got to that yet.
And Hurt's probably snoring while you're doing this. So with that actually in mind, that means Hurt is going to be down some, another point of fatigue.
Or he just won't get that one back.
Yeah, that's appropriate. He's going to wake up when his alarm goes off, out of a freaking nightmare where he's being chased by something. Let me make sure I got everyone. Yeah, okay.
We're going to go back to somebody.
Right, I was going to go back to Mac. Thank you. Let me find that. Right, so Mac, you guys head to, it's kind of out of the town somewhat, and it's closer to Elephant Butte than it is, so that's going to be to the east than it is, where you guys were with the house blowing up. And you will find that the owner of this house doesn't seem to be outside waiting for you, which kind of irritates Jack. Oh yeah, I should probably go back to make sure Brian has it. Where the hell is that at? Does that reshare it? Yeah, it did. Okay. It's just way behind. So he's Jack will tell the guys to start getting to work, and he will start looking around for Mr. Gillespie, the owner. So the question is does Mac just start working?
Yep. He'll look at the plans and figure out where he's needed and put himself to task.
All right. So
Owner's totally murdered in his bathtub.
Give me a perception check, please.
I see everything.
So you're starting to heft some stuff, and it's one of those moments like, if this is a TV show, they're going to treat it like the quickening, sort of where like you sort of sense something, and like the camera's going around your head, like you're a little disoriented. Yes, something is definitely not right. And out of the corner of your eye, you're fairly positive you saw a flicker of movement in one of the windows to the house, but it was super, super pale.
All right. And Jack's heading to the house right now, right?
Yeah, he's like, calling out for Gillespie. He's like, hey,
And,
Mr. Gillespie, it's me,
I will-
it's Jack.
Did Jack drive us here?
Yeah.
Okay. I will reach into the car, hit the lock, close the door, and rush up to Jack and run off to and yelling at, hey, boss, and I'll come rushing up to him. And hey, boss,
Okay.
that dang truck got all locked up. I'll go look for Mr. Gillespie while I go. If you can go unlock the truck again, sir.
Okay, I see what you're doing. Okay. And then to your possible frustration, he just fishes out his keys and hits the button to unlock the truck.
Oh, I guess that would work too. And then I'll start talking. It's like just talking or babbling and walking with him as he goes to Mr. Heads up to the door. So
And
is
then
this Mr.
both of
Gillespie?
you hear a gunshot.
And I will kind of bring Swanson to the ground, making sure that we're not in any kind of line of fire.
And he's like on the ground, go, what the hell?
It's like, I don't know, boss. Let me check it out. And I'll take my the hammer, the carpentry hammer that I have, and kind of move towards the door.
Through the door, it's the front door is open, but they have like one of the screen doors there that is closed. Through that, you can see into the kitchen, and you can see a 50s, maybe 60s guy sort of pacing back and forth, and he is very obviously holding a like a 45 in one hand. And he seems to be like rambling or muttering or something like that.
Oh, Mr. Gillespie, it's us. We work for Swanson Construction. We're here to do the work. Are you okay, sir?
You hear a woman's voice. He's gone crazy.
Mr. Gillespie, can we put the gun down there, sir?
And he is going to sort of kind of wheel almost in your direction. It's and he fires, but there's no way in hell it even hits. It's like if he was facing you, he's not quite, looks like he's even really facing you correctly, but you will hear glass break as the round goes through one of the front windows, and the guy's like, no, stay away.
We'll get you some help, Mr. Gillespie, but can we put the gun down? And then I'll kind of start to open the door with, and then use my foot to start to push it away so I can possibly, how far distant am I from him and the door? Like, if I can get the door open, do I look like I have an opportunity to bear him to the ground and subdue him?
It'd probably take a couple rounds to get there because it's not a direct line, and there's stuff in the way, and you have to
Gotcha.
jump over this table and jump off the couch and that sort of thing.
Okay, so I'll have the hammer in one hand, and it's like, sir, what's that behind you? Look out! And then I'll chuck the hammer into a corner of the room to make some significant noise and distraction, and I'll try and bring him down and get the gun away from him.
Okay, so you toss the hammer, you say that, and he wheels in the completely wrong direction, which is kind of weird. And he's like, shouting. He's like, "Oh God, he's here!" And like fires a couple more times with the pistol, not hitting anything really. You can hear probably his wife sort of screaming. And then you are going in to tackle him. He is, let's see, as long as you don't fail badly, then it's not going to be difficult to actually take him to the ground.
Crit.
Or nearly so.
All right.
But I'm trying not to like put a lot of damage on him. I'm just trying to, subdue him, and it's like, it's all right,
Sweep
sir, it's
the
all
leg.
right.
You are able to do that. You sprint there, you hurdle the table and land on the couch and use it as a springboard, and just bam, body tackle him to the ground. Although it's a judo thing, so I'm not sure how that kind of looks.
My brawling's just about as high, so actually my brawling's higher. That would have been a crit under brawling.
No,
points
crits
on
are only
brawling.
crits are only 6 and lower.
Oh, okay.
And Daniel's
it's
right. You
margin.
can't actually crit with a crit with a grapple brawling. You'd have to use wrestling.
Wrath.
Right. So you take him to the ground. It's not that particularly difficult. And that really weird sensation that you had earlier is just like that. You're definitely certain it was there, or it's still there. The thing that you definitely will notice as you're holding him down is his eyes are completely white. They have no color in them at all. And he's like, struggling really, really hard. And he's like, no, you can't. It'll get us.
It's okay. And it's like, I'm here. It's like, nothing's going to get us. And as I'm kind of holding him, I'll start to scan the room, and
you can see his wife. She's like over in the corner, freaking out.
ma'am, get out of the house.
Jack is going to enter and see, that she
Call the
got
cops.
that. And he's like, leans down and like yanks the pistol away from from him. He's like, what the hell's wrong with his eyes?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's all right, sir. Come on. It's like, we're here. Nothing's going to get you.
And then Mr. Gillespie sort of like tenses, and like all the fight doesn't seem like quite go out of him, but it's like he's no longer struggling, and he seems lucid for a moment, and he's like sort of looking at you. He's sort of looking at you, but obviously you can't tell if he's actually looking at you because, well, his eyes are completely white. And he says, he's coming. And then he slams his head back against the floor really, really hard. And you hear something crack.
Like, oh, man. I kind of, it's like, we're going to, Jack, I think this guy's going to need some medical attention.
And Gillespie sort of like shivers.
Goes limps.
He like shivers a little bit. And then, you can almost see, his eyes moving around underneath, whatever it is. And then one of them actually pops and sand comes out of it.
All right, I kind of let go of the body.
I'm gonna need you to make a fright check there.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, gonna need you to make a fright check there, buddy. Okay. Yeah, it's like, whoa. Swanson is reacting with a, whoa, what the hell? Okay. Damn it! There's just one more thing I want to. I don't know if I'm gonna have to. Well, we started a little late, so that'll work. So let's see here. So late in the day, where is it at? There's this and this. So late in the day, Hurt is actually going to reach Johnny B's, which is a restaurant in town, and you will see Graham is actually waiting for you.
I'll go and
No, not Hurt, not Lopez. He hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, okay.
So that would be you there, Giger man.
Yeah. Lieutenant?
It's like, hey, this is a pretty good place. You want to have some burgers and some beer?
I need those things in quantity.
Yes, indeed. He will nod toward the fact that there's a Firebird there, and he's like, it looks like what the heck was he calling Draven? I don't remember if he was calling
No,
Draven anything.
that was Mark that was doing that.
I think he was calling him Ninja Man or something like that.
I don't remember. I'll have to look. He's like, oh, well, it looks like the big guy is here.
Oh,
Conveniently.
before anybody else gets in here, I'm gonna stick in there that our little side mission is complete as well as we can.
Well, that's potentially good news. Conveniently, Draven is already there. You're having some. You're seated with Joe, who's like talked this place up as location with the best burgers in town.
As long as they have a good cheeseburger.
He's
Which
like,
doesn't mean they're
best
good.
cheeseburger. Okay, they have pretty good cheeseburgers. It's the best cheeseburgers locally, which so Draven will definitely see Will and Hurt enter. Will give you a guy nod, but clearly not necessarily going to join you just yet. But he will probably pause and like, I'm gonna talk with you in a little bit there, if you don't mind.
I will pass the time.
Oh, he was saying that to Draven, so Draven doesn't get up and
While Draven's stuffing his face, he'll just sort of nod.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Leave you alone. This is a good burger. And even though the players don't know it, Finlay is actually here as well. With Faith, who's like, hey, yeah, I'd like to go here and eat some burgers. Although she's like mostly picking at French fries and not really making eye contact.
And it explodes.
No, not necessarily. So Will is, he's like, hey, going to the table. He's like, yeah, I've already talked to Dr. Lopez, and he should be joining us here in a little bit. But he's like, so I think we have some things to sort of discuss, you and I. This is to Hurt once you guys are at a table, in which I should double check. Okay, hold on. I forgot to reshare the interior. Come on, there we go. It's the interior. And before he can actually start talking, his cell phone rings, and he glances at it, and he's like, got that heavy sigh, like, I don't want to answer this. So whoever it is that's on the other side is clearly someone of higher authority, because he's answering with yes sir, no sir, those kind of responses. And it's like, but sir, I'm in the middle of an investigation right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then we'll hang up. He's like, well, this is another shit sandwich in Las Cruces I get to deal with. He's like, oh, well, we're going to have to put this off. Evidently, I have to go deal with another cartel shooting, this time involving a state prosecutor and her family. So he will make sure that he's like, I have your information here, and I want to make sure that you don't do anything particularly stupid.
I'll do my best. Hurdle throw out some cartel related stuff just to demonstrate that he knows things. Like, so is it MS-13 or
Don't know
is it
yet.
this style of hit?
This part of town or this part of the country, it's I actually have mention of that somewhere. It's probably the Sinaloa, yeah,
Sinaloa.
Sinaloa cartel. Yeah. All right. So he throws a bunch of bills down. He's like, make sure that is that should cover the meal. Did you cover Lopez when with that when he gets in? Make sure to let him know. I'll be in touch with him a little bit. I have to go because my player is AWOL for like 3 sessions. So I need a proper way to be written out of the thing that doesn't involve me dying.
Or dying permanently.
Well, pretty much most death in Dresden is permanent unless you're like vampire's death. So Andricus here, presuming he's still alive.
I am not dead.
That's good. She, Faith has been really hesitant about whatever it is that she wanted to talk to you about. She will, it's like starts with like, well, I've been having these really weird dreams, and you're in them, and don't think it like that because ew.
Okay. I don't know which way you're thinking of, but okay.
Because you're like old enough to be my dad. Ew. But she starts explaining, or slowly. It's really, really difficult to, for her to. Oh yeah, where I should have reshared
None
that one.
comprehended.
Right, Faith. She. What are you sharing now, Mark?
Cartel stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's either the Juarez or the Sinaloa. Yeah, I actually. They're very much. There very may be agents for both in Apocalypse. There might be. There might not be. I don't know.
Trick is to get them to fight each other.
Somewhere outside of town.
Yeah, I was about to say somewhere outside of town because otherwise that's going to be potential bloodbath. Her explanation is like she's like keeps seeing you pop up in her dreams before you even showed up here, and there are also lots of monsters in her dream, and she doesn't know what this means.
What sorts of what's happening? What sorts of things are you seeing in there?
There are monsters, and I'm fighting them. And there's this spirit that's sort of like hanging around your shoulder right now, and it's kind of distracting because it's whispering. It's like, you better not touch her. I will come back and I will murder you if you touch my sister.
If you will, apologies. I just need to. I'll be right back. And he'll.
Bolt. Ah!
No, he'll get and he'll just go, kind of just go around the corner, and hopefully the spirit will follow.
Spirit does not seem to follow. It seems to be like hanging out over there next to her. So while you're trying to figure out what the hell to do there, this is quite some time later, and McArthur, you guys are actually entering this place as well. It's a significant, a couple of hours later. The sheriff, a sheriff deputy was called in, and Swanson had to explain everything and as much as he could. And you were given some weird looks, and they carted the. You're not sure if he was dead or not, but he definitely wasn't moving. Mr. Gillespie, and Swanson was very much in the. I don't know what just happened, and his guys are like doing the same thing the other dudes. He's like, we're going to go get some meat and some beer. And
Sounds like a plan, boss.
And he drove everybody in here, and it's really weird that not quite serendipitous, but maybe a mystic coincidence that everybody seems to be in the same building except the state police guy.
Well, he was.
Hey, G.I. Joe. What's
And
going on, man?
as you guys are arriving, ironically enough, the person who just went AFK is actually pulling into the parking lot as well. Lopez is arriving at the same time.
Hey, Harley, come pull up a chair.
Then I'll kind of give the look to Swanson's like, if you don't mind, boss, I'm going to sit with these guys.
Oh, I see how it is. Already ditching us.
No, boss. It's just, weird stuff happened, and I just met them, and they seem,
Well, weird stuff just happened to us, too.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, I got to tell him about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard me there, Fran Javier. But you are arriving at the diner right about when Mac and the construction crew are also arriving. The thing that you probably notice straight away is that your sister is sitting with this like old, well, not old, but this maybe in his late 20s, early 30s nerd. And what the heck?
Well, I would obviously go over and at least say hi to my sister and, kind of say, so who are you with?
As you are doing that, the owner of the diner declares pretty loudly, even though everybody has just arrived and started making their orders, like, all right, everybody, I know it's early, but this is going to be the last call. I got a big date tonight, so I'm going to be closing up early. So get your orders in now, and we can, get them out, get them to you.
I'll probably call it. How well do we probably know Johnny B's? Is it like a pretty familiar local restaurant?
Yeah, it's been here for a while. When you visit your mom, it's not Mexican food. It's more American stuff, because it's like the owner is like a big baseball fan, and there's like baseball memorabilia all over the place.
However, be like, is his name Johnny?
It's totally going to be Johnny.
Okay. I will say, hey, Johnny, I'll take the usual. Thank you.
And as a punctuation mark, one of the, no, I didn't mean to call out Mark there, but as a punctuation, one of the construction crew just falls onto the floor.
Does that happen a lot?
And it's like, Swanson's like, whoa, what's going on? And, sort of like, starts trying to, make sure his man is okay.
I'll just kind of jump when I hear the commotion. I'll look over, and when I see it's one of your construction workers, is like, I'll hop out of the chair too and go see what's going on.
I'm going to stay out of it, but I'm going to pay attention to see if whoever's attending the guy seemed to know what they're doing. Actually, the doc is here, so he'll probably end up taking over.
Great. So I
Draven.
don't have a chance to get a name from my sister yet, and something happens, and now I got to go beat doctor. I'll go over
Draven,
and make sure the guy's okay.
Draven will sort of look over at the guy on the floor. Then he'll look back at his burger and just sort of pull the buns apart just to make sure the meat's all good.
Well, this guy hasn't even eaten anything yet. He just walked in, and it's like he made an order, and he was sitting there like, drinking some water.
Doesn't mean he shouldn't check.
But yeah, that's true.
I move over and I do the entire. I begin to do the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's probably going to cause Eric to go stop and shove you out of the way.
Yep.
All right. So give me a medic check.
Now that'll get the healer bonus, I would imagine.
Ultimately, I'm just, crit hunting here.
Yeah, well, still.
Okay, so the dude is very deeply unconscious, which is like kind of weird. And as you're going through the usual stuff, you push the eyelids open to check his eyes, but his eyes are completely white.
Whoa! It's like,
and the eye that you're holding, you're doing that, it bursts and sand comes out of it. And I need fright checks from everyone other than Mark, because he's already made it. Because that's just not right.
that's just not right.
That's just a will check, right?
No, not quite. It's going to be capped at
Mostly.
13. But yeah, it's mostly a will. But if you roll higher than a 13, then that's a fail, even if it's under your will. See, you're all fine. All right, so it's like, "Duh!" Everybody's like, "What the heck?" And then you hear a thump as another person falls, and then another, and then another, until only Lopez is the single person who is still standing. And
Okay, I'm
he
not
is
leaving.
surrounded by unconscious people. And outside, you will hear the sound of a car crash. And that's where we'll end it for the night.
I'm assuming the PCs aren't amongst the unconscious
Nope,
ones.
the PCs are among the unconscious.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yes. Lopez is the only one that isn't, because the player's not going to be here next week. And that's where we'll end it for the night, with Lopez standing there with everyone unconscious. All active players will get 2 character points, and we will pick up next week at the same bat time and same bat channel, but without Lopez or Graham due to the scheduled absences. So for those of you on the stream, if you're watching this and have questions, corrections, general complaints, suggestions, some good nature heckling, whatever, feel free to leave a comment on the video on YouTube, or find us on either Discord or Facebook, which is still Cancer. Thank you for watching, and Olympus bids you good night.
Good night, stream.
Good night. Bye.